Okay, today's video is going to be about understanding a balance sheet. There's a lot of people that their minds blank out when they hear anything financial and they limit themselves and say, oh, I don't understand this. But if you pay attention for the next few minutes, I can explain to you much more than most people understand about the balance sheet. And as they say in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. So you can know a lot more than most people understand about a balance sheet, and probably will be all you need to know to get on in business and look at a balance sheet and understand it. First off, there are three components to a balance sheet. You have assets, liabilities, and equity. Okay? What are your assets? Exactly as it sounds like. They're things you own. They're assets. Assets can be cash. Cash is an asset. It could be fixed assets. That would mean furniture, fixtures, equipment, computers are all fixed assets. And then there's other assets, such as security deposits. And generally the balance sheet goes from the most liquid to the least liquid. So cash is your most liquid. Cash will generally be on top. And then it goes down to things that you could sell, and then things like a security deposit, another asset, well, you might not be able to get that back until the termination of your lease, so that could take you quite a while. So all of your assets, the total of your assets, is one side of the equation, and that's the first part that we want to understand in the balance sheet. The second part is liabilities. Now, what are liabilities? Liabilities is what you owe. If you owe credit card debt, if you owe vendors, these are all liabilities. What's the common denominator? You owe someone money. Okay? You owe someone money. Maybe in the near, once again, generally you're going to see short-term liabilities on the top, and as it goes down, you go to long-term liabilities. Generally, they will be segregated. They'll be separated, long-term versus short-term liabilities. Your last section is equity. Equity is basically, if we follow the equation, I don't want to jump around, but basically equity is the value of the business. And think of it like this. If you want to know what someone's equity is, you take, or a business's equity is, you look at what they have, what they got, that's your assets, what they owe, that's their liabilities, and what's left is the equity. Let's say in a very simple situation, someone has $500 in the bank and he owes $100 in credit card bill. Well, his equity is going to be $400. $500 less $100 is going to be $400. That's what his business really, that's the equity. Equity is also called sometimes net worth for a very good reason, because that's what you are worth. Okay? So that leads us, we had a pretty good lead into the equation. The balance sheet equation is assets equals liabilities plus equity. It's just basically the reverse of what we've said until now, is that what you have less what you owe is your equity. So if you take what you owe and what you're worth, that should equal your assets. It should balance, and that's why it's called a balance sheet.